Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Reviewing Comics with me, your host, Alexander Turbin. Today we're going to be looking at the Spiral Path micro series number 1 by Eclipse Comics from 1986. But before we get into that, I'd like to show you some of my own work. This is Random Access. It's a full-size 20-page anthology that comes out every month from Random Access Press. And you can get these at patreon.com/Alexander Turbin. And you can also get them at Comics Creators marketplace.com. It's a new website created for comic book artists and writers. And if you have a comic book and you want to sell it on the eBay of indie comics, get in contact with me. Also at Alex Turbin 0441 at Instagram and Alex Turbin 04401 at Yahoo, which is my email. So you can contact me in all of those different places. Or better yet, get the Patreon just for $3. You get all of this awesome artwork and story for just $3, which I think is quite a steal. So let's get into this Spiral Path. I just read a review. It was a quick review on Eclipse something or other website or whatever, and it was just quick. They didn't understand the book. They thought it was reprints from Warrior magazine, and they were right. They did a little bit of research into it, and when Eclipse bought PC Comics, I never knew that they had done that. They also got a bunch of Warrior old UK stuff that they had the rights to. So every 6 pages, this is like a 4, 5, or 6 pages were like continued story, but it's a continuing story. So Eclipse bought it. They compiled it all together. The artwork is awesome. The guy liked that. He loved that. It's very Prince Valiant looking. We both agree that it was a huge influence on the artist. There's no doubt about it. It's written, illustrated, and lettered by Steve Parkhouse, Jeff Senior, John Ridgway, and Anne Hathacre. Don't know what everybody's doing. I'm assuming that it's written by Steve Parkhouse and illustrated by Jeff Senior and John Ridgway, with Anne Hathacre doing the lettering, but I don't know. I don't know what the division of labor was. But he thought it was a jumbled and garbled piece of crap, and he did not like the story or the characters or anything at all. I, on the other hand, I just got finished reading it. I had never read it before. This was not from my childhood or anything like that, so I didn't have any kind of preconceived notions or expectations or anything like that. I did automatically notice the artwork, very Prince Valiant like. But I also thought there was a Midwestern / Native American kind of thing going on. It's definitely European looking. So there's a lot to unpack about the art, which I think is fantastic. And the fact that it is between 4 and 6 pages, and then it goes on to the next 4 and 6 pages, so it's broken down like that, feels like it could be a hindrance to the book. But I actually think it helps it to be understood. It could be very confusing. I do understand why the guy didn't understand the story and got confused by the story. And he is correct. A lot of the names sound very similar. The names sound very or Norwegian or Viking like, I guess. And so let's just go and dive into it. I'll try to keep my sinuses at bay, but no promises. But so I may have to blow my nose at some point. But let's keep on going on. I'm going to read the little intro because this is the first one. And so let's check this out. The land of Ternigir. That's another thing. The names are very hard to pronounce. So that's probably why he had a little bit of a hard time too. Had been invaded by hostile forces. After many years of battle, King Galebrain was deposed, his armies destroyed by magic and madness. Sick and dispirited, the king and a handful of warriors took flight and now approached the furthermost borders. So it's the king and a few of his warriors. They've been deposed. This evil darkness coming upon the land. And one of the great things is I'm in the midst of doing Morgrim, the Savage Cyclops, and there's tons of horses in it. So I'm looking at the fantastic horse illustrations. mine's a little bit different. I think I have a little bit more robust style. Not that it's better than this. It's just a little bit more. My figures are a little bit bigger, I think, and so I show a little bit. I don't have a lot of these kind of scenes where you see a whole lot of the figures in the full panel. If that makes any sense. But they're in a rainstorm and they're running from the bad guys, but they're all complaining about there's like maybe there's 7 of them, I think. So there also might be a little bit of a 7 samurai thing going on with the number 7. But they're all like, some of them want to turn back and fight. Some of them just want to get out of the rain, which they can't because they're on like they're like on a mountain range or something like that. They come across this druid who says, I have a place that you can shelter and recruit, reinforce your forces or rest and stuff like that. But then they're attacked by one of the guys that are attacking them, and he's upon them, and they're all afraid of them because these are like brainwashed. They're like not the Nazgul. They're like the Urukai, pretty much. They're just like mindless monsters, and they're out to get Gilbrain and his associates. The druid throws a bomb at him, and it kind of like explodes, kills him or whatever. And then he leads the group to this little knoll, and it's really great. I have to do way more. Not so much establishing shots because I do a lot. I usually start out with an establishing shot, but I have to do way more inner comic book establishing shots, I think, where it kind of just shows where they're at. So he leads them to this place where the druid leads them to this place where he thinks they'll be safe for a little while anyway. And then a crow flies by. One of the 7 says it's an evil omen, and the lightning strikes or whatever. I don't know why, and which is probably some of the reasons why this other reviewer had such a hard time. And he really did not like the story at all. One of the guys looks back and sees the horde coming after them, and that is when some of the other problem that with the other reviewer's problem with the book was that because of these 4 to 6 pages where it would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I think it either ends here or maybe it ends here or maybe it ends here. So then it goes to the bad guys, the villains, the horde of Urukai or whatever they are. They have this. They're led by the King of the Dead, Artuk, and he has this general who is I can't remember his name. Cormac. Cormac is the general. So it's General Cormac. He's like a necromancer. We've got the evil Lord of the Dead following Galbrain, and the Cormac and his general are just having words as he's the general's like just like, give me a few guys, we'll run up to the Galbrain and we'll kill them all, and that'll be that. So he does try to do that, even though Cormac is like not really giving his blessing, but he's going to do it anyway. The druid and Galbrain they're at this hideout where the druid thinks that they can stop and help them, but they're saying that they should have a rear guard. They should have a rear scout, somebody at the back of the wagon or whatever, the group, and he can like let them know if anything's happening and he can fight them off. But they say that somebody has already done that. His bravest warrior, Nuada, has stayed back, and he is going to either try to fight them off or give warning or whatever. But then this is a little bit confusing who these two guys are. I think this is Nuada, and this is somebody else, and I'm not sure. I think this is actually one of their cohorts. The what's his name? Cormax. Sorry about that. They launch some sort of flaming arrows or something, and they hit where they're hiding at these burrows or huts or whatever. But then it goes into which it kind of there's a fight going on here, or there's going to be a fight between Nuala and the Cormac or Uratax, what's his name, Artuk's battalion. So there's going to be a fight going on, but the druid is just like kind of like he's very upset. He knows that they're all going to die, that Artuk is too powerful, so he puts a magical spell into the crow's arm, and he lets him fly. He says, "Go off and reach this magical person, and or reach this person, and it's a spell. And if somebody finds it, then they can release somebody to come save us." So as I said, Kurak's battalions or Artuk's battalions come across Nuada, and Nuada he's in his armor, and he's in his horse, and he's just attacking them, kind of like they do at the Battle of Helm's Deep, where they just charge with their horses. And so he's just attacking them, and he's like a man possessed, and his horse is possessed, and he's fighting, and the horse is fighting. But then he comes across a giant who works for Artuk, and this is actually where it ends. I think this is where the first scene ends, or the first comic in Warrior, and then it starts up here because you've got the credits here, and it's also you have the spiral path up here. So I think that this was actually originally magazine size, and they wanted to put it down into comic book size, so they put the spiral path on the top of everything, which is kind of interesting. It's kind of unusual. I like it. I kind of do wish it was magazine size though, because I really love the artwork, and I think that it would really kind of make the whole book a lot better. So Nuada is fighting. He's fighting the giant. The giant smashes his shield, and he's like wandering around, and he just gets stabbed in the back. Somebody throws the knife at his back, and then the giant swoops him with his big mace and kills him, which I don't understand. It's like he uses that as a spear, and then he kills him. So a lot of people just die in this book, which is really cool. Very Game of Thrones. Just, I think if this, I don't know, would this, the reviewer that reviewed this before, would he have, I'm thinking he probably doesn't like Game of Thrones, because that has a lot of characters and a lot of the names sound similar, and it's very much world building. This is a huge world building comic book. So if you're not going to take the time to kind of invest yourself into the world, not just the characters and the stuff, like I had to keep going back to figure out the names of Cormac and Artuk and Banebrain and all that stuff. So if you're not willing to do that, then I think you should probably just skip it. But if you are, then or you just love the art and you think you might tip your toe into it, then that's fine as well. But just to like kind of throw it all, the baby out with the bathwater, because you're a little bit confused by the characters and names, that's a little bit silly to me. So it's Cormac. He sees the crow flying away, and he knows that the crow is something significant. So he sends his hunting hawk out after it. It goes through this whole thing where the crow is flying through other lands. He must be going a couple days worth of flying, which is pretty far for a crow to fly. I'm thinking that's like 400 or 500 miles maybe. It does rest finally, and the hawk that what's his name? I can't remember his name now. Cormac, the hawk that Cormac sends out is going to kill the crow, but he's shot with an arrow, and it's some girl, and we will learn her name later. She finds the parchment, and she brings it to her father. These are like maybe nomads or farmers or something, and she's really eager and excited. She's like, is the king calling you? Are you gonna whip out your sword and start slashing people? So she's all excited and happy, whereas the father is like kind of scared and petrified, and he's like, I'll read this. What was it, Father? What was written on the parchment? I still don't quite understand. It's partly a message from my old friend Ruad, who is the druid, and partly a spell, but how it arrived here, only the gods know. The bird brought it, Father. To utter the words that release him will attract the attention of Artuk and not only incur his wrath, but also his retribution. To ignore it means that Tangier and all its people are doomed. You have no choice. You have no choice, Father. I know, child. I must do what Ruad asks. The words must be so spoken. So he gets all of the stuff that he needs for the spell, and he does it. And that is, I think, because it says next, the Dark Dreamer. So that is the end of part 2. And I really like it. It's broken down. It's more broken down into chapters than it is just a few pages. I like this whole breaking it down into chapters kind of thing instead of just having it one story. It makes it a little bit more understandable, I think, because it kind of recaps. It'll have pages where it'll recap stuff and kind of go over what's happened before, which is kind of interesting, and a way to keep what would otherwise normally be kind of a chaotic and confusing storyline into it kind of blends it together. He makes the spell, does the spell, but the evil of Artuk or something, some kind of evil wizard, possesses him. And even though, yes, the spell is successful and he does call forth, I don't know, I can't remember what his name is. What is his name? I can't remember. Anyway, hopefully it'll come up. No. So he calls this Crow Warrior up, and the Crow Warrior realizes that he's possessed by this demon. So he gets the girl to find the dad's sword, grabs the sword, uses it, it cuts the guy's head off. The demon crawls out of his body and flies away. I think that it may be Artuk. I'm not sure. But the crow guy here, I cannot remember his name. I'll try it. I'm going to try to figure it out here. But he buries the father and kind of spends the day with the daughter. The daughter is crying and stuff, and he's saying, "I'm very sorry for what happened, but I need to go back to Bane Brain and the rest, and try to save Tangier and all of this stuff." And so he kind of is going to leave, but the girl says she wants to follow him. And so basically he's like, you stay with your father for a little while, or she does. She says, let me stay here with my father for a little while, and then after that, I'll rejoin you. So he goes off, and this is next, the Drowning Woman. So Saeed had, all right, so his name is Kaid. I think it's Kaid. It's either Kaid or Sayed. It's either Kaid or Sayed. I don't know. And the girl's name is Bethbara and Sayed. He's going along, and he's like a magical guy, and he has all of these, like the birds and the beasts of the woods are saying things like, beware the drowning woman, Sayed. If you hear a cry, take no heed, but pass on your way. Beware the drowning woman, Sayed. So all the animals are saying, watch out for what's going to happen. He does come across a pool. He's thirsty. He leans down. He's going to drink from it, but he sees a drowning woman, and she's crying. And he, being the hero of the story, jumps into the stream, tries to rescue her. The dreaded arrow is here. This is one of the things I'm going to backtrack a little bit and talk about the art and the writing. But it has the dreaded arrow. He swims to her, and she reveals that she's really this evil woman, and she's there to drown him. She pulls him under into this other world. It's not water. I don't think it's water. And she makes him her slave, and he's completely in her thrall, and she's like just kind of disgusted by it. Bethbara follows Saeed, and she can't find him, and she's lost, and she's crying, and she's very upset. So she leans over the water, and she's crying, and because of her tears are for him, it wakes him up from his trance, and he realizes that this drowning woman wants to enthrall him for the rest of his life, and that he has to get out of there. her minions try to stop him, but he grabs the stalactite and starts smashing him in the face, and he just kind of um, dumps into the water, which the water obviously turns it back upside down, and he swims out of the brook or the stream or whatever it is that he's there. And then it goes back to Artuk's encampment, and they're not really into they're basically just like the Uruk-hai. Like I said, they're like the Uruk-hai or the goblins, and they're just, they fight with each other, and they're just doing that thing, waiting for orders. Cormac comes along with, I think this is a spirit that was taken from the dead father's body that was cut out when Saeed cut his head off. The spirit came out of his body. I think this is him. I think this is maybe Artuk. And so he carries that around with him, or maybe it's just maybe this is just Artuk, and he's tired and weary because he hasn't, killed anybody lately or something. One of his warriors kind of makes fun of Cormac, and Cormac asks him or tells him to grab this woman, and just one of the slave women or something like that, brings him into Artuk's camp, and he's there on his knees, and he's crawling towards her, and he says, Cormac keeps saying things like, just give up, just reside yourself to your fate, and he'll make it quick and easy. Then it cuts to Raoud, the druid, and he's thinking about Saeed and Batharba, and he's realizing that Saeed has come along and that he is available, and he's going to come save the rest of the world. And so he decides to attack Artuk. I don't know why he just doesn't wait for him, but he decides to attack Artuk and his cohorts, and he doesn't have any more magic because Artuk is just too powerful, so all of his magic is gone. And he goes, he tries to fight he fights a giant, and he's going to fight Karul or whatever his name is, and Cormac. He fights Cormac. Cormac is too strong for him, stabs him in the back, but it's like the same thing. It's like they're one person, the druid, and Saeed is knocked down. He's like embattled or whatever, and Batharba, I think they were making their way to where the druid is. So she's shooting arrows at the bad guys, and it says the next is the Oracle speaks. So it is very complicated. You might want to, like I did, reread certain sections. I enjoyed the writing. The other reviewers thought it was trite and overdone and all of this stuff. And it is very overwritten, but it's not overwritten in a way that I disliked. I very much like the overwriting, and it just kind of makes everything clearer. And if you overwrite and make things clearer, that's perfectly okay in my mind. And everybody's voices or everything, they're very old, maybe Arthurian or something like that. But it was enjoyable. I liked it. I liked the little stories broken down into different sections and stuff like that. So I enjoyed the writing, and the artwork is beautiful. It is beautiful. I do wish it was magazine size so you could really kind of see a lot more. But so much is really great. And the narrative art is pretty good. There are a lot of parts where the things happen where you don't really know. It's like you go here and then you could go here and here. So the narrative art is a little bit off sometimes, especially not here, like here and here and here. But some of the panels, I'm going to try to find the one page that really is the worst. But there's also a here. You could have gone here, or anyway. But because of the narrative text is connecting the panels, then to go that way. So they decided not to do that and use the arrow, which I completely dislike, as you guys know. Let's see, right here. So it goes here, which doesn't really make a lot of sense, but they could have put this in here or something like that, which would have made it a lot better. But overall, I liked it. I mean, it feels like Prince Valiant artwork kind of crossed with um, Steve Bissett. Steve Bissett. Um, I think that it looks very similar because it has that oldie kind of style look to it, which I really like. I enjoy it. But I enjoyed the heck out of this comic book. It's not what I thought. I didn't know that it was completely really fantasy sword sorcery, but it is. There's a lot of that in it, which I enjoy. And so I'm going to give it a 8.5. I'm going to give it an 8.5. It's missing a little bit of those elements to make it truly fantastic. And the fact that it's a reprint, it's not really put all that well together. If they had reprinted it and it had been in a magazine style format, it probably would have been a lot better. But I did enjoy it, so I'm going to give it an 8.5. If you're new to the channel, please hit the subscribe button and the notification bell and all that fun stuff. And also, everybody, let me know, did you read The Spiral Path and did you like it, or is this completely new to you, and what you think of it? So anyway, I'm dying of my sinuses and stuff, so we're going to call it a day. But thank you guys so much for watching, and keep on creating.